Alright, welcome back to Tales from a Degen with probably one of the biggest degenerate podcasters, myself, JJ Liberman. And as you can tell, you know right away from just looking at this studio, this is by far, as Danny Polishuk, the great Danny Polishuk, comedian who's killing it right now with his live streams, says, I am a negative value male. Now, there are high value males and low value males. I'm below a low value male with my studio. Look at this studio. We're degenerate. This is our behind me. That's a Philadelphia. Our wall was plain, and so I thought, well, what could we do it to spruce up this podcast? Let's put a triple XL Philadelphia Phillies jersey on the wall, batting practice jersey, and then keep my blinds in the mix too. So, and the camera and the webcam is being held up on fucking stoicism. So, welcome back to the podcast. We do weekly rants. We do weekly streams where we take your questions. Hit the like, subscribe button. Tell your friends about the worst produced podcast production value. This is the best content, but is the worst production value podcast in the world. And that's how it's going to be. But we are moving. We're going from a 3-bedroom with two roommates to a sublet for 2 months. See if we can make it last. This is New York City. It's expensive. I can only do comedy here, so it costs a lot of money to live. And I have 2 fucking dogs that love to suck my money dry. Every time they get up in the morning, I just hear my debit card wheezing from the expenses that they're going to cause. So, welcome again. This is Sunday. We'll release this on Wednesday, maybe even fucking Tuesday. It doesn't matter. There's not enough people watching it. But we're just going to talk about literally what happened this week. And I'm a guy who banged a lot of men. If I haven't lost you by that statement, let's keep on going. So I banged a lot of dudes, and now I'm banging a lot of chicks, and it's a frustrating thing because women's expectations for straight men apply to most men, but I don't give a fuck about those expectations. I come from a gay background where I could just, before Grindr, just go into the gay area, and just because I'm like, you'll look at me and say, I don't know about this guy, I don't know how hot he is, but because I'm very masculine, I'm like a masculine gay dude can be really ugly, and still he's like, oh wow, he's straight. It's like an ugly chick with huge tits. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, that's a butterface. But there are still dudes who are rubbing one out to her. They're still thinking, oh my God, look at those massive tits. If I just don't look at anything else. And that's the same thing with me. You know, if they just focus on my voice and the poker hoodie I'm wearing, some kind of poker network hoodie I'm wearing, pokerstars.com hoodie, that's good enough for some of these gays. I'm just masculine enough. My voice is low enough. I'm disgusting. I have terrible style. That's just enough to come off as a straight man. So, I do speak to women, and I lie. I'm just trying to get laid. I have no, because the people who I can match with on social media social apps, are never the ones, like, they're never the top 10%. It's all the, I'm the leftovers of who women don't want to sleep with, and they're the leftovers of who guys don't want to sleep with either. Don't forget your fucking omegas. So that's how it is. That's how it goes. Alright, so we match, and a lot of these chicks, I mean, we're both in the bottom 20% of our pool. They want, like, they have unrealistic standards. They think they can meet their knight in shining armor, because all women think the same. Even though they have a mirror, I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. Like, I'm disgusting, okay? Like, I need my teeth bleached. But, like, you can't be, not every chick can be a princess. Just like not every dude can be, I don't know, I was going to say Andrew Tate, then that probably doesn't go well. Then I was going to say SBF, and, when he had $16 billion. But that's how it is. So you take what you got, and you wear protection so you don't pass on your genetics, and make a kid suffer, make an ugly kid suffer through life because his parents were irresponsible, or get the abortion. So I met this chick. We're talking on the phone. She's like okay. She's like a solid 6.5, and she's like, she's super leftist, which is fine. I don't care what your political... I have no dog in the fight. I just call it hypocrisies. I don't care what your views are. And she said to me, she said something, I don't know how, about comedy, and she's like, well, and then she gets into, like, she has to throw her agenda out there. And I was like, talking about how the guy who I tour with, how Joe Rogan gave a shout out to Ryan Long, who I tour with, saying, yeah, he's really funny on a podcast. And then she gets into her, I don't like Joe Rogan. And I know for a fact she has never listened to one of his episodes. You just know with these people. And I'm like, well, why is that? And she then goes on this rant about the extreme right and this and that. And I said, by the way, Joe Rogan had Bernie Sanders on, and because she was talking about platforming. And I said, yeah, well, Rogan platformed Bernie Sanders. And she was like, oh, yeah, but the extreme right, but these people are bad. But, like, it was her way of, like, saying, oh, fuck, you got me. But, yeah, the right's still bad. And I said, oh, yeah, and also he refused to platform Donald Trump. And she's like, oh, yeah, I know. But she was still saying how he's a bad guy. And I'm like, but why? Why is he a bad guy? Tell me why. What have you seen that makes this man a bad man? Like, can you please tell me that? Like, I'm trying to get this information from her. So, for what it's worth, I will still sleep with her. I don't know if you'll watch my content. I will still sleep with you. Crazy lunatic leftist. So that was basically interesting conversation with her. But yeah, I don't even know. I texted her once after that. I was like, hey, stunning. Like, just to see if she responded back. But so that was that part of the week. And I'm like, man, these people, they just fight, and they have no idea what they're doing in life. And you just try and get through. Like, I'm just trying to make money for the new place, and that's why we're posting these things. And I thought, like, because I'm old. I'm in my 40s now. I'm an old man. I'm an old man who is trying to build his fan base. I got to do this fucking quick. I got to work hard, because I'm like, I don't want to get famous at 65. There was a story of this dude who... I forget the whole story. It was like, we're talking about, like, in South Africa. He, like, was the biggest music influence in South Africa. I forget where we were talking about this. And he moved to America and worked in his factory his whole life. And then eventually, people were like, who is this guy? And they found this man. There was a team of I don't even know what it was. It was a documentary, or it was an archaeologist. I don't know what the fuck it was. I don't know if that even makes sense. But the story is, and I don't even know if this is a true story, but I think it is, because I've been told this twice, that they found this man they found this man who's the biggest influence of music in South Africa, and he was like in his 60s working in a factory in America, and they found him. They're like, hey, buddy, these people love you in South Africa. So he did like one tour, and he was doing stadiums or something, and I guess he made money. I'm like, I don't want that. I want money now. I want money in the next 3 years. I don't want what Mark Twain has today, where people are saying Mark Twain's a genius. They're fucking, no. If I can't monetize this now, I don't want to monetize this when I'm fucking dead. No, I don't want to be timeless. I don't want to be Marcus Aurelius, who I do love, but he fucking, he would be worth $1 billion today. Granted, he was the emperor of Rome, so he enjoyed it, and Mark Twain probably enjoyed it too. But I don't want people saying when I'm fucking dead, JJ Liberman's one of the best of all time. No, I don't give a fuck about that. I care about now. I want to order Uber Eats tonight. I don't have enough money. So, I'm getting old. And I want it to happen before it's too old. I went into a restaurant to pick up takeout. There's a great Vietnamese restaurant. And there was this old woman who, when I went to, I get these like chicken and pickled vegetables. It's fucking amazing. It's $12. It's grilled chicken, but I think they flash fry it. But I don't ask because in my mind I'm eating healthy. I don't want them to say, I'm not going to do the accent. I don't want them to say, no, we don't. It's not. We ended in the fryer, and I'm like, no. So I'm just gonna like, if it is flash fried, I'm just gonna continue to harden my arteries, without knowing. But if it's not, in my mind, it's grilled, and that makes me good. But so I walk in and I'm waiting for the order. They're wrapping it up, and there's this old Vietnamese lady, I think, and she was very old. She had like some kind of chicken dish, but the chicken was diced, and she had no teeth. So she had to cut, and I knew she had no teeth because as she was cutting the chicken, she was, you know, when people have no teeth, I don't know why they do that, old people. Maybe it's like, maybe the teeth keeps your lips in place. I don't know how that makes sense, but everyone without teeth. I had a grandmother like that. She smoked cigarettes, had no teeth, and she just went. So we'd be talking to her, and I was like 6, 7 years old, maybe 9. Either way, it was fucking freaky. When you're 9 years old, someone's need to say like, so you don't get scared and have nightmares. They're like, yo, either we're gonna not show this kid this, or we have to explain to him like this is what happens. And you're like, I think I just avoid it, because sometimes things happen to you as a kid and you don't know, and then all of a sudden you're like 35 years old and you have a flashback, like fucking, you know. So this woman's cutting this. She's probably in her 90s, and she's cutting the chicken and like that. And I'm like, I try and eat healthy. I try and live a healthy lifestyle. I take cold showers. I sauna. I meditate because I want to live a long time. But then there comes that point to me where it's like, I don't want to live that long. I don't want to get to an age where not only my friends are dead, there's potential I start having grandkids dying. That's too old. Where you get those, they used to call them senile warts. Now they don't call them senile warts because it's like ageism. But I say we bring back ageism. Fuck those old people. Fuck them. They're sucking up social securities. They have like these senile warts. You know, they look like they're a tree, like some kind of bark on the tree. Like they got stuff growing out of them, like trees. They have the senile warts. That's how old she was. And I'm like, because I'll eat once a week. I'll have like a crazy cheat day. But after I saw her, she was like she was dicing up diced chicken because she had no teeth. And, you know, and I know like Asians like to do like chew 30 times kind of thing, but this was not on purpose. And maybe that's not Asians who like to do that, but I've heard like the Japanese like to chew something 30 times. It's good for your digestion, good to help you be a slow eater. But that's not what she was doing. She was doing it, but not on purpose. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I 2 cheat days a week. I used to do one. I used to only do 1 cheat day a week. But when I see someone that old, I'm like, 2 cheat days a week. You can have an extra slice of cake too on the cheat days, because 85 seems like the great age. Maybe they have technology now. That would suck too. Like if you're on your fucking way out and like, hey, we got technology to prolong your life even better, and you're like, but it only like keeps you your age. That would stink too. Or like, you know, you're like 81, life is good, but you still can only maximize an hour a day. Like you only get an hour a day of good stuff. The other times, like, it takes you 30 minutes to get. It takes me 20 minutes in the morning just to get like my shit going, to take out my dogs, So in double that, right now 80, like you're gonna have a nurse coming over and like filing your heels because there's so much dead skin on it. I saw that in a documentary, so I don't know if that's actually true either. But yeah, yeah, she was an old bitch who it just looked like a struggle. Yeah, but the other thing too, like I don't want to eat so much cake where I'm the first one of my friends to die. That sucks too. The funniest thing, I had a buddy who died a couple weeks ago. He was battling cancer and such a funny comic and such a great guy. And then I read in one of the comments, someone wrote, I just wish I had one more day to say goodbye. And I'm like, how fucking selfish are you? That would suck for him. Fuck. You're like sitting beside him. He's laying, he knows he's going tomorrow because you're like, hey, we got one more day left. This is going to suck for me. For you, you won't know. But for me, I mean, like, you selfish idiot. What a dumb thing to say. But I also don't want to be the last one who dies either. Because that would stink. You know, everyone's gone. You're like, it's just me. It's just me. And you think like, oh, okay, you know, I guess at that point you have enough money to hire help to take care of your dog because the dog's what keeps you going. Because I could live in a society where it's just me and a dog. Like my two dogs are right there. If I can fucking eat food, I can rub one out and I can have my dogs. That's enough. That's good enough for me. So you don't want to be, so I think out of your group of friends, you want to be the second last one to die. So you're the second last one, and you look up at the one guy, and he's like, oh, I just want to have one more day with JJ, and it's two of us left. Everyone else is fucking dead. Grandkids are dead. And I look up and I'm like, dude, it's gonna suck for you. It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. I'll tell you who it sucks the most for is SBF. This fucking guy is going to jail. I watched Martin Scarelli, the guy who bought the rights to the HIV meds, I think it was. It's just such a great dude. Such a great podcast. Well, I don't know if he's a great dude, but his podcast is really interesting. Such a smart guy. And he's like, oh, this guy's going away. He like showed the legal way of how someone gets, how they get sentenced. And it was like, oh, you get a base amount and then it's a point system. And he was like, he had so many points. And if it's not a sport, you don't want a lot of points. And it looks like he's going to go away for a long time. And still, right now, I am not shocked that SBF is a fucking crook. Because he's a nerd in his 30s or 20s worth billions of dollars. You have to think about this guy. This, like, nasally, unfit, raised Jewish guy has no athletic ability, is not good looking. He was a target to get picked on. I don't give a fuck if they have like zero tolerance, no bullying. That gets bullied. He's what gets bullied. So what do you think? He was going to amass his wealth not to become a fucking scumbag? No. Anyone, like, dude, this is how I know people are pieces of shit. If I find $100 bill on the ground, for the next hour, I'm fucking living corrupt. I'm eating, like I take no responsibility. I just found $100 bill. I'm eating like a slob. It's like today I'm supposed to eat clean, but I just found $100 bill. It's a sign from God to fucking clog your arteries. So think of that and times that by 1,000,000. And then add 900 million. And that's 1 billion. So you don't think some guy who fucking was bullied, I don't care how much he was loved. He wasn't loved by the fucking cool people. Chicks didn't want to fuck him. And if they did want to fuck him, they all want to fuck him for the wrong reason. And that's why he was smart and he dated that ugly pig. Because he's like, you're not, nobody wants you. Like, see, that's how you date. You date below. I used to think you date up. No, you don't date up because someone's always going to want that. You date below. You date under you. You date under you so nobody's going to take what you have. And it's just like one, not that it should be a thing you think about, but it's just one less thing that can't creep in your mind. Go. Someone's uglier than me? Go. Take her. Have her. Good luck. There's a whole list, a whole lineup of more. Easy. If someone's some supermodel, why would you want to be Ghislaine Brady or whatever that? Why would you want to date that? That's a headache. Fucking all these creeps trying to get in there. And next superstar. That's what's going on. No superstar going to what was her name? Caroline? It's just not happening. Anyways, it was good. I felt great. I don't know how many people are watching it to the end, but I felt fucking super. I think those were good degen ideas, lifestyles. Might even start turning them into a bit. Might just use this as a fucking workout mic without laughs. There's 4 people in here. That's good enough. But anyways, Tales from a Degen. I'm JJ Liberman. Remember, wipe your ass front to back so your balls don't smell like your asshole. Unless you're a true fucking degenerate, go back to front. No editing here either. No editing. Back to front, so let your balls smell like your asshole and fucking teabag someone you hate. Have a great week, guys. We're doing, don't forget, we're going to do live streams. So subscribe, hit notification, tell your friends, and coming to you live from the biggest degenerate podcast studio in the world.